Hi, Rhonda here. So happy that you're joining me for this month's UNversity lesson, which is about staying current, staying relevant, being top of mind with your clients and customers. And that takes a lot of planning so you are consistent with your communication. So, how do we become planned and consistent? There are lots of tools out there to help us do that. The thing is most of us, and hopefully not you, maybe it is you, have these great ideas and shop and shop and shop for all these different kind of tools, and everything seems to fall short, not because they don't necessarily work, but we just haven't taken the time to really adapt something into our routine to use. And a big reason for that is that a lot of systems, a lot of tools are a little complicated. And when we're doing the day-to-day, grind of work, who's got the time? I mean, to sit down and really understand the capabilities of a tool and how it can really save us time, help us be more efficient and effective, and yes, stay in front of our clients. So what we are talking about this month is ongoing communication. Again, how do we, in a simplified manner, plan and then actually implement, right, our ideas that we put in the plan into actually doing them well, and doing them consistently and predictably. Well, you know by now that I do have my own Rhonda Ready CRM system that has a ton of very useful, not over the top complicated tools inside of it to help you do just that. So today, for this month's lesson, we're highlighting some ideas for you on how to stay top of mind and how to use this electronic system as an assistant to get more done in less time. So what we're going to be talking about first is like the big plan, all right? Whatever industry you're in, whether or not your transaction, times, the actual in process with your customer clients are only a couple of hours, or a day, or it goes on for some length of time as a project, construction project, or something like that. And there's more of a long-term in-process relationship. There are lots of things that we can do while either that we're in that, actual working period of time with our clients and customers. But then there's also things that we want to do either after, or before as well to help the conversion, for people who don't know us as well. Maybe they've met us, you gave a proposal or something, and they're just not quite ready to pull the trigger. So we want some ongoing communication with them so they don't lose sight, right? And get carried off with somebody else, 3 months later who says something just at the right time. And then they go with them. And you're like, well, what about me? Well, have you been in front of them over the last 3 to 4 weeks? Or did their number just get put somewhere on your desk and you were just kind of hoping they were going to come back on their own? Yeah, that happens a lot. So we want these kind of things planned, right? Again, so we stay in front of them. During a transaction, it's that same kind of thing. At that time, it's more about what kind of value are we giving, right? So this honeymoon phase, of all the great things that we are, whether providing product-wise or service-wise, we're also backing it up with great customer service, bedside manner, if you will, right? And these are things that can be premeditated and drawn out just to do at the right time during or what the client your customer is experiencing at that time. And by now, right, where the highs and lows are in certain areas of that transactional period. And we need to for you. Highlight those so you look like a hero. Okay. And then in your ever after, right? People in your sphere of influence who, haven't done business with you yet, but know and like you, hopefully, and past clients that you've already worked with that you'd like them to either refer people from their sphere of influence or repeat business with you, but we don't want them turning around a year from now saying, gosh, who was that guy? They were really good, but just can't remember. Well, why would that be? It's because you haven't stayed in front of them over the last period of time since that transactional period with them was completed. We want to correct all that. So in a lot of systems, but I'm just highlighting the one that I know and can teach you to use very efficiently and effectively. In my system, I call them action sets. Now, they're workflows and lots of systems, they have different names for them. But basically, it's putting together a series of steps for ongoing tasks, automatic notifications and emails, and a whole bunch of kind of things that can be either manually served up to you or automatically done by the system so you can stay in front of your customers and clients. And I'm going to show you a few examples of those. Well, but first, let's go back to the planning a little bit. So let's just talk about people, and we've gone over this before in other lessons. People are in that ever after unit, right? They're either past clients, they're part of your sphere of influence or whatnot. They're not necessarily hot prospects right now. They didn't raise their hand and say, hey, I need your service, right? But they've either used us before or they know what we do. And we are, yes, this is what we're talking about, going to be keeping them on our radar and us on their radar by continually communicating with them. So what are some ideas for doing that? Well, the first thing is think about what it is that you will do, right? If you're not a person who likes to make phone calls, then I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you're saying, okay, I'm going to call, everyone in my database every 3 weeks or every 3 months, because those days are going to come up and you're going to say, ooh, phone calls, I don't like them. So why are you torturing yourself? And then you're just going to have, missed tasks and then feel even worse of not following through with what you said you were going to do. So think about what it is that you will do, right? Maybe you're a texter. Maybe you like email. Maybe you would rather send, out like a blast, newsletter is an easy example. Maybe you're very social and you would rather go out for like coffees, or you would rather have little small group functions. Think about those things that you will actually follow through with, okay? Those kind of items. Then we're going to think about time frames. So are we going to be following up with people twice a month, once a month with something, and then quarterly with something else? Is there a time like an anniversary, let's say on a real estate closing? Do we want to send out something annually on the anniversary? Hey, it's been 1 year since you've been in your new house. Hey, it's been 2. Hey, do you need this at 3? What does that look like? Or you've had a kid. It's been a while. Do you want to look at something bigger? I'm here. So we want to come up with things that you'll do. Again, not a party person. Don't plan 2 big parties. Why? You're not going to do it. You're going to dread it and you're going to be miserable. So don't do it. Think about those things that you will do, right? Those things that are you, because that's when you're going to shine. Then again, time frame. So, some say, once a year I'll send something. People's memories are a little shorter than that, especially now. Can we even concentrate more than 2 seconds? So seeing your name, pop up on a text or on an email or something like that, or, social media post, if you think a lot of your people in your database are seeing you there on some of your social media mediums, so to speak. So we want to really think about, again, what are you going to do and in what time frame? And what we were saying was that, once a year, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities of people running into other people, right? And thinking about you if you're only communicating them once a year. I mean, those personal relationships that you have, think about the ones that you're close to and the ones that you're not so close to, right? It's called communication. It's called having open dialogue. It's called checking in with people to know that you care. And it really makes no difference whether it's personal or business, right? In your personal life, you got to do that, and you got to do it in your business life too. So think about the different time frames. Just one time a year doing something, well, okay, it's better than nothing. But I would really recommend that you think about having something, at least one on a monthly basis, right? Something on a quarterly basis. And these can be for everybody. Monthly specials, what's new, kind of thing. Discount, or sales or something, right? And then also more personalized things, anniversary dates like we were talking about. Birthdays are always nice to be remembered on, right? Taking people for coffee, whatever that looks like, but plan it out. When are you going to do it? And not just, oh, I'll do it 4 times a year and I've made my plan. Okay, no. 4 times a year. Is that seasonal 4 times a year? Are you going like in the middle of seasons for something? Is it 4 times a year on holidays? If so, which one? Is it 4 times a year, the second week of each quarter on a Friday? Now we're getting specific. Now we're getting where we need to get. So these things can be consistent and predictable. Yes, it's what we're after. Please. Okay. All right. So where these action sets and workflows come in handy is once you make that plan, is to then say, okay, well, who's going to be reminding me of this? Right? I could put it on my scratch pad. I could put it in my, day timer. I could put it in my phone and say it's the second Thursday, of second month of the quarter that I'm doing these things. And that's, again, better than keeping it in your head or on a scratch piece of paper, at the bottom pile of your desk, which I hope that's not you. Or you can have this online assistant like Rhonda Reddy help you manage that, right? I mean, how much would you pay an assistant a day to come up with all this stuff, keep you on task and whatnot and whatnot? You can program a system like Rhonda Reddy and have it set and recur and do all your reminders, even send out automatic emails and texts for less than $3 a day. I don't know about you, but I think you'd be paying your assistant a little bit more than that. And if you're really on it, well, you've got an assistant to even do that part for you, which is great because then it gives them more time to take on more of your tasks. Hey, hallelujah. That's what we're looking for. All right, I'm going to show you now in the system just a couple of examples that we don't want to do. All right. So first off, let's go to, I know I said we were talking about action sets, but we're also going to talk about this other nice little feature in my CRM that is called the birthday assistant. So a lot of my clients find this very handy. It's completely automated. And as you can see, like here is the setup page for the birthday assistant. And very simply, you've got like 3 things to answer. Who should be included, right? Well, nobody means that you're not using the birthday assistant module. The next one is run birthday assistant for all contacts, or you can run birthday assistant only for contacts with a particular flag. Flags in this system is one of several ways of how to label contacts into communication groups. Very important, okay? Need to have a system that you can accurately label the contacts into communication groups, all right? So then what should the birthday assistant do? So we've got run birthday assistant for all contacts. In this particular business, we want to do it 30 days before, not on their birthday, because and let's take a look, what the email says. And what's really nice is this system has a full custom designing email feature. So you can have hundreds, if not thousands, plus templates already done for you for all different kinds of emails. It's a simple drag and drop. I mean, so easy, but like here are a whole bunch of templates that you can use, or you can start your own. You get to drop your logo in, put an image here with your logo. You can put a title here. Let's say happy birthday, right? You can give a little birthday message, right? You can put in all your direct social media links. You can drop in a happy birthday video if you wanted. I mean, this is how simple this is to use, okay? We're not talking about just making emails today, but what I wanted to show you was that once you've made an email, right, then it's very easy to go ahead and just drop it in to send this email template, okay? Now you could even, right, if you didn't want, this is, set up because a lot of people do like to recognize people on their birthday. That's their special, unique day. But you always could use this for something else, right? Let's say you have something that you want to recognize anniversaries. You could use this as an anniversary assistant, something like that, okay? This is one so simple, set it and forget it. And the people in your system will get this communication from you after the time that you spent setting it up, which would be about 5, maybe even just a minute doing this. And depending on how quick you are and how many ideas you have on setting up an email template and creating it, this whole thing, to at least reach out to everybody one time a year, could have taken you less than 10 minutes to put together. Think about that. Okay? All right, now let's go to those workflows that we were talking about. Action sets. Oh, let's say you do a monthly correspondence for monthly specials. All right. You come here. We make a workflow, right? We can have this internal comment that tells us what the workflow is about. We can put pauses in the workflow. So on the 8th of every month down here, we're creating the whole next quarter's 3-month special so that we're always ahead of time, right? You can do an entire quarter at once. Talk about just being prepared. If you're going to create one, might as well create 3. And hey, if you have the time and the creativity, create all 12 if you can. Why not, right? This particular client likes to create 3 at a time because they want to kind of feel out, what trends are happening, over the next quarter. Then there are other things as far as getting owner approval, to send out to magazines, for it. There's also, there's one other one in here. Great, next quarter. Oh yeah. So we have the monthly send out, right? And then we have creating, 3 months of content to send out a year. And then at the very end, so this is all predictable and consistent, then we just restart the action set. So we put a year together, restart the action set, and away we go. Now let's look at some of these steps. Okay, here are some of the steps that you can choose from to make up an automatic action set. We talked about labeling. It's really important to label clients and customers correctly because why? Because this is how we communicate. And if people are labeled all willy-nilly, they're going to get communication that doesn't really pertain to them and isn't edifying, and that you goofed up because you didn't put them in the right communication box, so to speak. So we can have automatic action, assign flags, remove flags, or remove all flags, depending on what's going on in your process for this particular workflow. You can set sources, right? Where did they come from? Categories, where are they in your process? We can stop other action sets. Let's say we had them on an action set for prospecting. Well, and now they're a client. We want to stop that action set saying, hey, you want to return my phone call? Because they're say, hey, I've been working with you for 2 weeks already. Well, we can have the system automatically do the stuff for us. Autoresponders, these are email drips. You could make up an entire series of emails and have them go out at any time that you set, right? So this can be extremely helpful when you have new people coming into your pipeline and you want to stay in front of them. It can be extremely effective when people are going through your process and you want to give them direct and good, valuable information at certain times of that transaction. You can just set it up and let it run. These are all like manual to-dos that you can set up to remind you, tasks to remind you to do things. Automatic sending emails. We just attach the template that we made in this system, attach it, and away it goes. We can have email notifications, either go to yourself or go to anybody else that you have in the system saying, hey, this is about to happen. Can do that. We can opt in people's emails because we have to do that, right? To actually send them through the system. Flow control is great because you can pause for set durations and say, hey, I want these 3 steps right away. I want this step in 3 weeks, and I want this step in 3 years, whatever. That's all here. More actions are adding notes. We can even set up custom fields. The possibilities of using these action sets are endless. And they even hook up to a really cool form system that I'm using too for contracts and just all kinds of online forms that then can connect into and trigger when a form gets submitted, all of these actions. But that's for another day. All right. So here's one example of like a monthly special and what that would look like. And when you decide that you're ready, right, to have a system like this working for you, let me know because I can help you set it up. And then here's just another example. So with this same client, they're a med spa, and they have people sign, consent forms before treatment. So they're really struggling with the fact that, going online, trying to find, is their consent recent, taking a lot of time at the front desk, right, to say, or to look it up, then have somebody sign it right there, right, and just make sure that everything's going, that they have the actual, right consent before the treatment is provided. And some were missed, and again, and it was taking a lot of time. So now what we have is we have it all automated. The consents now are digital forms, right, which is great. They get sent out when the person makes their, first appointment for that type of treatment, goes out. But then the cool thing is after it's submitted, then this action workflow is triggered, and it will assign the flag to say, hey, this is a facial client for this particular one, right? Because that's the consent and the service they're going to have. It signs them a flag automatically that says it's current. It puts a note that says it was complete. Then it pauses for 48 weeks, right? Because these are annual consent forms. In the 48 weeks, right, just a few weeks shy of their consent form expiring, it removes the flag showing that it's current. It automatically sends them a template that says, hey, we need to renew your consent form. Okay. It pauses then for 1 week to get this submission. If they do submit it, that's the end of the workflow, right? We got what we needed. It starts back here. Then it assigns the flag, which this one, it will already be there, but that's fine. Then it assigns that it's current again. It adds the note, and it'll pause for another 48 weeks to the following year to get the consent current once more. And what this stuff down here was, if they don't fill it out, right, it will send it again. And it'll pause for 3 weeks. And we'll follow up for it until we get it. So nothing's lost, nothing's falling through the cracks. It's all working out smoothly. It took about 5 minutes to set up this workflow. It took about maybe an hour or two to set up the emails, but there are a ton, right? There are a ton of emails. Maybe it didn't take that long. Because if you look, like, see, here are all the same action sets. And what's really cool is we can just duplicate them. So once you make a good one, you can just copy it and duplicate it. You don't have to make it up again. And the same goes with the emails, right? Then you can just copy it, tweak a couple things, put it out. So I'd say this whole thing for setup was about a couple hours. But what is it saving over the year? Well, already, the front desk of this company reports that it saves close to 3 hours a week of time of people coming in, not having consent forms, us scrambling, getting it done, clinicians getting put behind because the appointment, right, went over because we were doing this paperwork at the time of the appointment. There were commercials that says, using a certain credit card, whatever, what it did was priceless. This is priceless. If you don't have something like this, or you do, and you just don't understand it that well, because trust me, a lot of these systems are very complicated and they don't have a live person to help you. That's not the case here. I want to see you succeed. You need something like this. You are important enough. You are to have something like this CRM, this assistant online working for you 24/7. All right. So to wrap this up, ongoing communication. You need to have it. You need to be in front of your prospects. You need to be in front of those people that you're currently working with, and you need to be in front of those people that have gone through your process before or that are just part of your database. You need to do it consistently and predictably and not lose your sanity, because you have friends and family and a business to run without filling your mind 80% of the time with all this minutia, when you can have a system that will take care of it for you. All right. Now, as always, I'm here for you. I'm just a click or a tap away. Stay ready.